Hello, Miss Monroe here. I'm going to be teaching about the human body and you. I'm going to be telling you about your body. How much do you actually know about your body? Well, hopefully by the end of this summer, you'll know a lot more than you used to. We're going to focus on the body systems, okay? So this picture shows you multiple body systems. You have your intestines, that's one body system. You have your liver, the stomach, your nerves. Let's get started. So again, my name is Miss Monroe. I teach at Long Branch High School. I teach a biomedical science course, one of the PLTW courses. So the objectives for this summer course is that you're going to learn about 10 body systems. You're going to be able to identify the organs in each of the body systems. I'm going to share with you some nutrition and some foods that are going to support the body system. And hopefully you'll have some fun facts to take away about each of these body systems. So as you look at this body, I want you to take a look at how the body's forming. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. So right now it's an empty shell and it's starting to form the skeletal system. So the skeletal system is in blue, and that's all of your bones, your rib cage, and then it's bringing in the heart, which is part of the circulatory system. Here's your pelvic bone. So now you can see that there are veins going from the body back to the heart to get oxygen from the lungs. And you have these red arteries that come from the heart that carry oxygen-rich blood to your body organs and your tissues to give it rich nutrients that it needs. But remember, your blood is not blue. It's always red. We just show you the differences between oxygen poor blood, which is a little darker red, and oxygen rich blood, which is rich, vibrant red. So again, your blood is not blue. So now we are seeing the circulatory system being fed to all of the organs and tissues in the body. As the body turns, you'll see that the veins and the arteries cover the entire body, all through the lung area, all along the ribs, because there's all tissue there that needs to be fed. Remember, your blood is a very nutrient-rich liquid that is needed. Now you're seeing the arteries and the veins going up into the head area, feeding the tissues of the brain, the ears, the eyes, the nose. Now you see the esophagus coming down, the trachea coming down into the lungs. You see these lungs here? What is the cage that protects your lungs called? I hope you guessed correctly. The rib cage. So your rib cage, if you start here, you can kind of see mine right here. Your rib cage, if you feel these little lumps in your chest, and you go down to the next one, that's your second one. Keep going down. You can feel all your ribs all the way down to the bottom until you can feel this bottom part. And then you have this area in the middle where your liver is sitting. Behind your liver is your stomach. And then at the bottom of your stomach, you have your intestines. You have your small intestines and your large intestines that go into your colon. You can see the capillaries and the veins are still flowing throughout the body. This is your pelvic bone again. Wow, look at all those lungs. They go all the way to the back. What are these yellow lines called? That's another body system that we're going to talk about in this course. This helps you feel funny when you get tickled. This also helps you feel pain when you put your finger on a hot surface. Do you remember what they're called? These are your nerves, and you see how they end and begin in your spinal cord? Very important. This is how your body gets signals. And this is your body. Those nerves go all the way up to your brain. Okay. So, how does your body become your body? How did you become the beautiful and handsome self that you are? What are you made of? Well, we're going to start small. We're going to start with the atoms. Atoms make molecules, and molecules make cells. So, we're going to focus on the cells all the way up to this part. So, the cell is a basic function, a basic structure of unit, a basic unit of structure and function in a living thing. What does basic mean? Well, it means it's simple. It's a very simple part, the simplest part, the least complex. However, it can do everything that your body can do. So it can pass liquids in and out just like you can. Some of the cells in your body can reproduce. Some of the cells in your body can do chemical reactions like break down gases, exchange gases. So your body is made up of these basic structures that can do everything your body can do. It can even get rid of toxins in your cells. So they're very, very important structures that make up your body. So cells make tissues. Tissues make organs. Organs make organ systems. And if you put all of these organ systems together, that's what makes your body. So let's talk about some of these cell types. You have trillions of cells in your body. Did you know that? There are 200 types of those trillions of cells. They're categorized in 200 types, but here's just 11 of them. So here you have your sperm cell, which is your male reproductive organ. You have your kidney cells, which are made out of squamous cells, which are kind of square and kind of circular. Then you have these nephrons, which help filter the urine, filter the liquid out that creates your urine. Your liver is made out of squamous cells also. Did you ever ask yourself, why are these cells so small? Well, why can't we just maybe made of bigger cells? Well, small cells allow for gases and liquids to go through very quickly. Just imagine you took a cup of water and you spilled it on the top of your desk at school. And you tilted your desk and it ran off. Now imagine you spilled that same cup of water on the cafeteria table at school. Which table would take longer to get the water to spill off of the edge? The bigger table. So if you have a small cell, you can get water in and out and gases in and out quickly. If you have a larger cell, the gases and liquid go through the cell too slow, and then you'll be talking like this because your body would not be able to process things so fast. So we don't want that. So small cells it is. The next type of cell, we have connective cells. They remind me of spider webs. And you know, if you ever run through a spider web, it's really sticky and the spider web pretty much stays together. So that's really important for these bone cells to be made that way because our bones are pretty thick and dense and they support our body very well. The next type of cells are lung cells. Again, they look similar in size to your liver cells. Little circular but somewhat square, so they're also squamous cells also. So I've got to go backwards because I went too fast. Let's back up. There we go. So back to the brain. So now we have brain cells. These are long cells. They're like long arms because they have a lot of messages to tell. So when you put your finger on that hot pot or on the oven or the stove and you pull your arm back, your finger has a sensory neuron that says it's hot. It tells your brain, it runs all the way up your arm to your brain and says, tell her to pull her arm away. And you pull your arm away, but it's got to send that signal all the way back down. So these have to be very long to make sure that you know, that your body knows, to tell your finger to get off of that hot spot so that you don't burn yourself. The next set of cells comes from the blood. Now, I know you've cut your finger or, had a boo-boo or you've fallen down or you've gotten a cut and you bleed red. Well, red blood cells are not the only cells in your blood. There are also white ones. So you have white blood cells, red blood cells, and you have these little dots called platelets that help your blood to stop, to help your blood clot when you cut yourself so you don't bleed out a lot. Now, these two white blood cells look very different. Well, there are lots of types of white blood cells. Some of them are called basophils, neutrophils, eosinophils. There are a lot of white blood cells, but we're going to focus on the red, the white, and the platelets. And that's what makes up your composition of your blood. The next type of cells are going to be our muscle cells. Now, you notice how the heart cells and the muscle cells look very similar because the heart is a muscle. Because it's a muscle, it has muscle cells, very similar in size. The pancreas is our next gland that we're going to talk about. These have two different types of cells. They have alpha cells and beta cells. And they have two different functions. One secretes insulin and one secretes a different hormone called glucagon. They both help regulate the amount of sugar that is in your body and how your body uses it. The last cell on our list is called an egg cell, and that is a female reproductive cell. So these are our 11 types of cells that we're going to talk about for the summer. So what are cells? Let's take a look.
Every living organism is made up of cells, from plants to the lowliest worm to the most complex human being. But what is a cell? Well, a cell is a small, self-contained unit within a whole organism. Kind of like a room within a house. It is the smallest unit that can be classified as a living thing. We can think of them as the building blocks of life. So how many cells do you think you have in your body? 1,000? A million? A million? More. We contain around 50 trillion cells. Have a look at your little finger. There's probably about 10 billion cells in there. Now, cells come in all different shapes and sizes. Occasionally, cells can be large enough to be seen by the human eye. For example, the yolk of a chicken egg is actually a single cell, and some cells are really long, such as a nerve cell that runs the entire length of your spine. However, most cells are really, really tiny and can only be seen under a microscope. They are so tiny that you could fit about 10 of them across one of your hairs. Now, there are many different types of cells, and each cell carries out its own jobs. Some of these jobs are common to all cells, such as making proteins and producing energy, while some jobs are specific to the type of cell. A human sperm cell has to be able to swim, while the cells that produce a peacock's tail must produce beautiful coloured pigments. Sometimes cells can exist on their own, such as a simple bacterium or a single-celled organism called an amoeba. But mostly, cells work together to form more complex multicellular organisms, such as animals, plants, and insects. In a multicellular organism, as well as doing its own jobs, each cell also works together with the other cells around it to carry out an overall job. For example, the cells of the heart work together to pump blood around your body. So, cells come in all shapes and forms and have all sorts of jobs, but they are all fundamental building blocks of living organisms.
Okay, so hopefully you learned a little bit more about cells. So remember, we're going from the smallest atom to the molecule. Molecules make cells. Cells make tissues. So let's talk about tissues. Not the ones you blow your nose with, not those tissues, but the tissues that make up your body. Let's take a look. There are 200 types of cells, cell types. There are trillions of cells in your body, but only 200 types, and they form 4 different tissue groups. The 4 tissue groups are the epithelial cells, which cover the body. So let's take a look at your epithelial cells. Take a look at your arm. Your arm looks pretty smooth, right? No holes, no gaps, pretty smooth. Now take a look at the epithelial cells on the screen. They're pretty smooth. They look a little lumpy, but they're just overlapping each other so that there's no gaps. Imagine if you had gaps in your skin. Would that be a very good protection? I don't think so. The next group of cells is called muscle cells. These are the muscle cells. When you do like this, I want you to put your hand over your muscle here. Can you feel it? It's like there's 2 different muscles going 2 different ways, because the muscle cells are crossing over each other, contracting and detracting, contracting, detracting. So when you move your muscles, they cross over each other to make a contraction. Nerve cells are these guys here. They're circular with these long arms called axons. And at the end, they have dendrites that look just like your fingers. Well, in order for you not to burn your finger, remember, if you put your hand on something hot, you have a nerve cell in here, a pain receptor, and the pain receptor goes all the way up your arm with these long axons until it hits your brain. Your brain says, oh my gosh, that's hot. Pull your finger off. So then the message travels back down your arm to your finger to move your arm out of the way. If you didn't have these long cells, the message would take too long to get to you and you'd burn your finger. Just imagine if your cells on your skin were made up of these nervous tissues here. Look at these spaces. Would that be a good idea? I don't think so. And just let's think. What if our nerve cells, which have to move messages and communicate to our body and our brains, were made out of these flat cells? Would that be a good idea? I don't think so either. The last group of tissues is called connective tissue. These are composed of widely spaced cells which bind together various body structures. So they're connective tissues because they connect body parts together. Tendons connect body parts together, and ligaments connect body parts together. And they're all made of connective tissues. Remember, the spider web. So let's take a look at a video. Before the video, we're going to make sure we understand cells make tissues, and then tissues make organs. Very good. So our organs are coming up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 organs. So we're going to start with the brain. This is the easy one. And your brain is a control center. It tells your body what to do. It tells your heart to beat. It tells your lungs to expand and contract so you can breathe. It tells your arms to move, your legs to walk, and it even tells you how to move your vocal cords so you can sing a song. So, that is your heart. That is your brain. Next is your heart. I want you to take your fist and I want you to put it right in the middle of your chest. And that bone that you feel right there, if you can feel your bone, is called your sternum. Okay, that connects your rib cage together. If you move your fist-sized heart from your sternum over to the left a little bit and you tilt it, that's where your heart is. See if you can find your heartbeat. There it is. I found mine. The next organ I want to talk about is the stomach. It is right underneath your rib cage. Okay? Right underneath the rib cage here. And this helps digest your food. After you chew your food, the second type of breakdown of your food is a chemical breakdown, and this occurs in your stomach. When you chew your food, you do the physical breaking. So when you chew it, you physically break the food. When it gets to your stomach, you're chemically breaking down the food. And there's a lot of chemicals that are in your stomach that help your food break down even further to very small bites, very small pieces, so that your digestive system can extract the nutrients out of it. If there was no stomach, the food would not be able to help you at all because the pieces would be too big to get the nutrients out to diffuse through the intestines to your body. So we really need our stomach. The next are the kidneys. How many kidneys do you have? 2. So if you put your fists together again and you put your arms behind your back, but you got to put them kind of high, that's where your kidneys are. Okay? And they are shaped like I think that's where they got the word kidney beans from, because the beans that we eat look just like our kidneys in our bodies. So kidney beans. This is your bladder. This is what stores your urine before you use the bathroom to release it. Next up, we have the intestines. The small intestines is in the middle, surrounded by the large intestines, and it ends up into a colon and then to your anus. And when you go to the bathroom, you release your bowels, and that's how we get rid of the foods and toxins that we don't need anymore, and it goes away. Next up, we have our liver. Our liver is the only organ in vertebrates. We are a vertebrate because we have vertebrae. We are vertebrates that detoxify. So we are the only organisms, vertebrates, that have this liver that helps detoxify our blood. It filters our blood. And guess how big it is? It's almost the size of a football. A football in your body, right? This is located right underneath your rib cage to the right. Okay? Next up, we have our lungs. Our lungs, one is a little smaller than the other. So your left one should be a little smaller than your right one. Depends on which way you're facing. Lungs are very important for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. Just take a deep breath together. You just made your lungs work. Your thyroid is part of your endocrine gland. It's butterfly shaped, just like a butterfly. So if you take your hands like this and you put it around your neck, that's where your thyroid is. You have part of your thyroid gland on this side and part on that side, just like the thyroid butterfly. And that helps with your hormones. So those are your organs. So where are we? Cells make tissues, and tissues make organs. Now we're going to move on to the organ systems. We have 10 body systems that I'm going to show you. There actually are 11, but I'm going to show you the circulatory system. We're going to talk about the nervous system. Remember the yellow lines on the body that spun around in our earlier video? We have our respiratory system with our lungs, our trachea. We have our digestive system. We have the skeletal system, our protection, our structure. And we have our muscular system. The integumentary system is our skin. Our skin is made up of layers of tissues that guard the underlying muscles and organs. So important. Remember, we talked about how the skin cells were not spaced out. They're very connected. They're almost overlapping to give us a protective barrier against viruses and germs and other diseases. So it's very important that we have them together in those spaces, right? So when you cut yourself and you have an opening in your skin layer, it's very important that you cover it with a Band-Aid or put some Neosporin on it or some antibacterial agent or cream, and then cover it with a Band-Aid for a couple of days to get that skin to heal back so there's no spaces in your skin. It keeps you healthy, okay? So the structure of our skin, we have layers. We have an epidermis layer, the dermal layer, and we have our fat layer down here. We have our hair follicles, the pores in our skin. You should be able to see pores in your skin, just like you have pores in your face. Okay? So this is the structure of our skin, and we're going to get more in detail when we go over this later on in the class. The last two body systems are our excretory system, which helps us to get rid of toxins, to get rid of our urine, to clean our blood, to get everything that's not going to be nutritious for our blood to be pushed out of the body. Very important that we don't keep those toxins in, right? So our excretory system helps us to excrete those elements that our body no longer needs. The immune system, pretty awesome system here, includes our thymus, remember, our butterfly, our tonsils, our adenoids that are in our nose area, bone marrow, which produces our T cells and our B cells, our intestines, our lymph nodes. Lymph nodes. Do you know have you ever been to the doctor and the doctor touched underneath your neck like this? And he wanted to see if your lymph nodes were swollen. If they're swollen, that's because you have white blood cells that are gathering there to attack the viruses and germs that have come into your body. They're helping you fight infection, which is awesome. Now, I'm sorry that you have an infection, but I'm so glad that your body's able to fight it with these white blood cells. So if you ever feel underneath your neck that's a little tender, that means you're fighting something, okay? That means take care of yourself, get some rest, drink lots of liquids, eat good, healthy foods to help you fight whatever's going on in your body. This little purple guy here is called the spleen. Awesome, awesome organ. He collects all of the dead red blood cells and other toxins that our body doesn't need, and he gets rid of it through the excretory system as well. Oh, we got one more, the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a network of glands. So your pancreas is a gland. They're not organs. Your adrenal glands, you have a pineal gland. Glands are structures in our body that secrete hormones. Hormones are little messages. It's almost like if you were to send a text or a tweet. It's like your organs are tweeting and texting in between to each other, telling each other what they need or what needs to be done. So these glands control your moods. These glands control your development, your growth. These glands control your reproduction and your metabolism. But mood is such a big thing with these glands. So treat your body right so you have a good mood all the time, or at least a controllable one, right? This is the endocrine system. Pancreas is awesome. It can help control your blood sugar for those who have diabetes. So let's recap. Let's talk about the levels of organization in our body again. Okay? Take a look.
Levels of organization of body structure and function. How are body parts organized, and how do they work so well together? In order to understand the human body and anatomy, it's good to break things down into levels. In this video, we're going to look at the 7 levels of organization of body structure and function. The first level is the chemical level, and it starts with atoms, which make up every material thing in the universe, including our bodies. Atoms can bond together to form molecules, which are larger chemical groupings, and molecules can combine with other molecules and more atoms to form macromolecules. The next level of organization in the body is the organelle level. Organelles are made up of chemical groupings, and they are tiny organ-like things that are in cells. Organelles have specific functions in cells, and they cannot live outside of cells. And without organelles, cells cannot survive. The cellular level is next. Cells are the smallest unit in the body that shows the basic characteristics of life. It's estimated that the body has around 100 trillion cells, and each cell is made up of a membrane, a nucleus, and a cytoplasm that houses the organelles that are required for the cell to function properly. There are many different types of cells in the body that perform different functions in the body. The next level is the tissue level. Tissue is a group of similar cells that have developed from the same part of the embryo, and all perform a certain function. Tissue cells are surrounded by the matrix or non-living intracellular substances. There are 4 major types of tissue in the body: connective tissue, muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and epithelial tissue. Next up is the organ level. Organs are made up of different kinds of tissues that together can perform different functions in the body. For example, the liver, which is an organ located in the abdominal region of the body, stores some vitamins and minerals, stores glycogen, which is a stored form of energy, helps to destroy old red blood cells, and helps to detoxify the blood to get rid of harmful substances. The next level of organization in the body is the system level. Systems are comprised of organs that, by working together, can perform more complex types of functions in the body. There are 11 major systems in the body. Many times systems work together to accomplish different needs of the body, such as the respiratory system takes oxygen in, and the cardiovascular system transports the oxygen to various parts of the body. The organism level is the last level. The overall human organism is made up of all the previous levels we just covered. And that be the levels of organization of body structure and function.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this is the end of this video, and I'm hoping that you can remember all of the organ systems. This is an organ system song by Mr. Parr, and he made this for his students to help his students learn the organizations and the organ systems of the body. And I hope it helps you too. So enjoy. Let's listen.
Alright, are you ready for the organ systems from digestive to endocrine? It's animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems from digestive to endocrine? It's animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems. Have you ever had to study animal anatomy and the physiology of digestive system? Mouth, larynx, esophagus, stomach, intestines, liver, pancreas, and the ingest, digest, absorb, and pass. Circulatory is the next with the heart and blood vessels. Internal distribution, moving blood upon its path. See, now it's respiratory, that's with the lungs and trachea. Includes the other breathing tubes or for the gas exchange. Immune and lymphatic, it's the body defenses. We need these to stand up fighting infections, cancer. Neo and hemato, lymph nodes, bleed and thymus. Even the white blood cells and all of them vessels. Right, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine. It's animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems. Right, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine. It's animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems. One organism cannot go base. Two more flash going to its place. Three urethra, two genitals, all are part of excretory. Now the endocrine system, thyroid and the pancreas, and the other hormones are breathing, rhythm, all that coordinating body functions. Yeah, the probably more little girls and little boys repopulating the world. Now it's reproduction. Males will have testes, ovaries from females. For these organs, girls and boys together make the world more. As we get to nervous, brain, and the spinal nerve, sensory organ, body built to coordinate the stimuli and formulate how you do respond to it. I hope that your nervous system works well and never does quit. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? Digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Right, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? And now it's intergovernmentary, skin and its derivatives. Infected anti-trubes drying out and then infection. Bones, yes, tendons, yes, ligaments and cartilage. Skeletal supports you now, so you lift your arms higher, raise it to your arms tired, muscles keep you there, giving you the locomotion, help you persevere. Yeah, all these body systems working on their own, but they come together in the body. They are not alone. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Like, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that song. I hope you can remember everything that we talked about today. I enjoyed having you with me today. Enjoy the rest of your day and remember your organ systems. See you next time.